the life that you live. Maayong hapon ka natong tanan. Welcome to City Sports Club here in Cebu. My name is Andre Palmero, the owner of City Sports Club. A big hand please. Joke ang poem silang pomo dito. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to an afternoon of fun, excitement, a day to remember, and a day like no other. We're going to be having delicious food, overflowing drinks, learnings, fun, and everything in between. Friends, this is Consultahan Bayan, Philippine Maritime Industry. A big hand, please! And with that, ladies and gentlemen, to formally open our event, please help me welcome and join me here on stage, and let's give a big round of applause to the University of the Visayas Faculty and Maritime Council of Leaders Director, Chief Mate, Ms. Ray Garcia. Big happy! We also have here Metro Cebu Harbor Pilots Corporation Incorporated, Captain Frederick Quinones. And let's give a big round of applause to the Association of International Shipping Lines Ports Operations Committee Chairman, Rene Ledesma. He is also the Junior Vice President of Evergreen Shipping Lines. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the Chairman of the Philippine Coast-Wise Shipping Association, Lucio Jun Lim Jr. We also have, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United Harbor Pilots Association of the Philippines, Captain Arnold Lavatan. Can you request for more seats? And of course, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome former Secretary of BCO, Cesar Chavez. And of course, the last but definitely not the least, Senator Bing Lacson. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, to give out the welcome address, let's make way once more to the Metro Cebu Harbor Pilots Corporation Incorporated, Captain Frederick Quinones.
Distinguished guests from United Harbor Pilots Association, Metro Cebu Harbor Pilots, students and faculties of University of the Visayas, College of Maritime Education, shipping companies, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome. It is an honor to have you join us today on our Consultahan ng Bayan. We are delighted to host such a distinguished group of individuals and look forward to engaging and fruitful experience. We trust that these sessions ahead will provide valuable insights and opportunities for the collaboration. Thank you for your presence, and we hope you find today's event both enriching and inspiring. This is Captain Frederick Quinones. Welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Captain Frederick Quinones. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome former Senator of
Cebu. Nalampakan niyo ang sarili niyo. Pinakamalakas na palakpak. Sa pagkakipag-uusapan natin dito, ang nagkahalagaan sa inyong sektor, hindi lang sa araw na ito, kundi sa mga susunod na taon at dekada. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Sa hapon ito ay gagawin natin kung ano ang ginawa ng konsultahang bayan kasama si Senator Lacson sa ibang lugar, katulad ng sa Baguio, sa Pangasinan, ngayon ay nasa Cebu. Ang konsultahang bayan ay hindi si Senator Lacson ang magsasalita. Lang. Mas mahalaga dito ay marinig kayo ang sektor ng shipping, ng seafarers, ng pamilya, ng industriya, ng lahat. In other words, inaasahan natin ng ating mga panauhin ngayon, ang direkta magtatanong kay Senator, imbis na ako. Yung mga kasama natin dito ang magtatanong, at hindi lang magtatanong, magbibigay ng rekomendasyon. Bakit ito? Ang senador ay hindi lang naman nagdumagawa ng batas. Tinitingnan ng senador kung ano ang existing na batas at paano nakaka-apekto kung ito ay effective. In other words, that's an oversight function. And therefore, tatlong letra pag-uusapan natin ngayong araw. Una, letter C. Doon tayo sa Cebu. Una ay tatanungin ko at pag-uusapan ko ang ating mga panahon. Sa unang round, letter C, Cebu. Ano ang dapat malaman ni Senator Lacson sa mga seafarers, ship owners, in particular ng pangailangan ng Cebu? Pangalawa, sa second round, tatanungin natin, ano ang importante dapat gawin ng Executive Department para sa mga seafarers, ship owners in the association? Pangatlo, batas. Kung mayroon isang bagay, dalawang bagay, batas sa tingin ninyo ay dapat malaman ng susunod na Senado, ano yun? Pangalawa, pangapat, letter U, urgent matters. In other words, bigyan niyo lang po si Senator Lacson ng isang urgent matter that within 100 days na panunukulan bilang bagong senador, ano ang dapat niyang isipin? Oversight function or legislation? Alright? Ganyan po ang rules natin. Okay ba sa ating lahat? Ang media ay pwede rin magtanong, ang mga estudyante ay pwede rin magtanong. Itaas lang po ninyo ang kamay. Pero bago dyan, hingan muna natin ang opening statement si Senator Ping Lacson na nagbabalik sa Cebu. Imagine, dating Chief of Police ng Cebu, naalala niyo ba yan? Yung mga nanay at tatay ninyo, yung mga lolo at lola ninyo, si Senator Ping Lacson ay dating Chief of Police ng Cebu. At sa panahon na siya ng Chief of Police ng Cebu, si Governor Lito Osmeña ay nanawagan pa sa Pangulo na pwede ba huwag alisin ang isang Ping Lacson bilang hepe ng pulis sa Cebu. Alright, sa kanyang opening statement, Senator Ping Lacson.
Yeah, thank you very much, Secretary Cesar, sa iyong pagpapakilala. Yeah, but many of you, or all of you, were not born yet. This was in 1989 hanggang 1991. I stayed here for 28 months as Cebu Metro Discom Chief. Wala pang PNP doon. So I'm here to listen more and talk less. As I told earlier kay Captain Labadan. You know, background kasi nito, he visited me in my office. And meron nire-raise siyang issues concerning the maritime industries, particularly mga seafarers. Kasi his heart really is for the seafarers, yung mga concern. And so, binigyan niya ako ng trabaho, nag-research ako ng konti. There's this new law passed in September 2024, but the IRR, yung internal rules and regulations, implementing rules and regulations, na perfected ng February 2025. Marami mga concerns pa rin. I'll just give you one example. Pag na-deploy na kayo as seafarers, baka hindi nyo lang, merong allotment na mandatory na 80% of your salaries papadala sa bahay. So, mamaya pag-uusapan natin yan, payag ba kayo doon o okay lang kayo doon? So, isa lang po yun sa mga issues na pwede nating pag-usapan tungkol sa mga seafarers, yung mga tungkol sa pagkapasa ng batas at kung paano i-implement. So, yun lang po at maraming salamat.
Alright, mga palaparan ng Senator Ping Lacson. Let's start with Cebu. Letter C. Cebu. Internal matter. Dito sa Cebu, ano ang dapat malaman ni Senator Ping Lacson? Rekomendasyon, anything about Cebu. Ma'am, simulan natin kay Chief Ms. Dwayne Garcia.
Okay, so good So in terms here in Cebu, as we all know, there is not so much shipping companies or crewing or manning agencies here in Cebu. So as I said before, it is most likely very accommodating if may mga shipping companies din na papasok dito sa Cebu. Hindi lang sa Manila alone. Kasi mostly when students graduate, they go to Manila to apply for their companies. So I think it's very blessed that there are companies here. Very few manning agencies, let's say.
Isa sa mga policy directions na napag-usapan namin ni Captain Labadani, no? Kasi in the course of time, naging prohibitive na yung cost ng tuition fees, tapos malalayo. No? So siguro ang isang pwedeng sagot sa inyong concern na ni-raise, magkaroon ng halfway house, siguro. Yung mga students from the Visayas and Mindanao, meron tinatawag na halfway house. So in the meantime, na wala pang mga maritime schools, sufficient maritime schools in the Visayas region or Mindanao area, merong halfway house where students can stay while studying yung kanilang yung maritime courses sa Metro Manila or elsewhere, subsidized by the government. Isa yun sa pwede natin i-discuss pagdating sa legislation.
Alright, halfway house, tayo ba kayo? Halfway house para sa mga estudyante. Payo ba kayo? Yung Captain Pilipinas, Metro Cebu, Captain Pilipinas.
Sir, we know that government-funded scholarships are available for part-time students in Luzon. However, in the Visayas and Mindanao, scholarship programs are limited and mostly offered by private-owned shipping companies. Is there any program specifically for Visayas and Mindanao, maritime students who cannot afford these opportunities?
Under the new law, yung 12021, yung Magna Carta for Seafarers, merong provision doon, although medyo walang masyadong explanation, that ang coverage would include training, di ba? Education and training. So, hindi malinaw kung paano i-implement. But we already passed the Pre-Tertiary Education Act. And I don't think merong conflict if we will pass or we will amend the Tertiary Education Act, the Pre-Tertiary Education Act, kung include natin, expand natin to include maritime courses. If not, we can put up schools. Ang isang concern, di ba, Captain, na yung maritime school, kulang talaga. Diba? So anyway, sabi ko nga, mas maganda sila yung mga expert dito sa field. Ako, I'm going to listen para kung ano yung sa area ng legislation, even when I make it to the Senate, I can amply address.
Can I add on to that, Senator? Yung tanong ni Captain Quiñones kanina, kung yung mga students ba, future students na coming from the poor, mabigyan mo ng chance to study the maritime courses, maritime degree. Well, in fact, right now, alam ko kayo mga students, ang mamahal ng tuition nyo, di ba? I think one of the most expensive tuition pays in the country. No, kaya nga, I discussed it with Senator Ping na bakit yung mga state university libre sila ng pag-aaral? Bakit yung maritime hindi libre? Na ito, nagbibigay mo ito ng influx o sa economy, no, tinatawag nating remittance ng mga seafarers around $5 billion a year. Tapos hindi libre yung pag-aaral. Among the country, we have only one maritime school na libre lahat. Ito po yung Philippine Merchant Marine Academy. So that's why with Senator Ping, nag-discuss po kami na we'll try to, again, develop and recall the nakalimutan na maritime polytechnics where the government will going to give it for free sa lahat ng mga seafarers na mag-aral kayo na libre. Bakit? Magbibigay po kayo sa gobyerno ng napakalaking pira when it comes to remittances. So, ang promise sa akin ni Senator Ping in his first day in the office, kung wala rin sa, ibabalik natin siya as senador, ito pong pinakaunang batas na gagawin na President. So, ito po ang bibigay ng security among you students. Kami kasi, we are the brink of our retirements. Retire na kami. And right now, I see Senator Ping. I think he is the good leader for this purpose na matutulungan po yung maritime concerns and development of maritime students. Right now, we've been already, mayroon na tayong mga trades from mga karating bansa natin, no? Indonesia, Vietnam, Myanmar, China, of course. Halos nauubos na yung mga marino because why? The number of students have been declining. Bakit? Hindi na ma-afford ng mga mahihirap na mga magulang magpaaral ng seafarers. Noong una, nag-aral ako sa Philippine Maritime Institute sa Bohol. Bakit? Doon ako nag-aral kasi yun ang pinakamurang mabibigay sa akin ng degree na nautical ko. So, ngayon, I think lahat ng mga parents umaaray na kasi lahat yata, lalo na yung mga nagtatrabaho sa gobyerno, yung retirement nila, instead may enjoy nila during the retirement, nandoon sa mga anak nila nag-aaral ng mga courses ng maritime. So, it's para sa akin, it's unfair. Where in fact, itong sektor ng mga seafarers is giving a lot of confidence, a lot of impact into the economy of the Philippines, but not being served well by the government. So, hopefully, ako, of course, being obvious na, ano na gawin ko, ni Senator Ping, tulungan po na natin para matulungan naman tayo ng mga seafarers, future seafarers.
Just to further underscore the importance of the significance of seafaring, 80% ng trade natin dumadaan sa dagat. Ganyan ka-importante yung seafaring. Second, 25% ng lahat ng seafarers sa buong mundo, mga Pilipino. And then, update ko na ng konti yung figures na nabanggit kanina ni Captain Labadan. Out of the 38 plus billion US dollars being remitted by all OFWs sa Pilipinas, sa kanilang mga pamilya, ang $9 billion, yan yung galing sa mga seafarers. Yun yung mga seamen na madalas nakakasabay natin sa airport kasi ma-deploy. So yan ang ganyan ka-importante yung seafaring sa buong Pilipinas. Ang laki ng contribution sa Philippine economy. Imagine, 8 to 9 billion US dollars out of the 38 billion na nare-remit ng buong pwersa ng OFWs natin. Nag-increase pa yung number, di ba, Secretary Cesar? From previously, yung January 2024, I think there were at least 500,000 Filipino seafarers. Ngayon, nasa mga 900 plus thousand. No? Ganun kalaki. And marami pang demand. So, yung mga estudyante natin na nandito, maraming demand pag-graduate ninyo, maraming opportunities for you to get employed as seafarers, of course. Thank you.
Alright, palapakan natin Senator Lacson. Alright, nandun pa rin tayo sa first round of Cebu, letter C. Ano ang importanteng dapat marinig, either tanong o rekomendasyon na pakikinabangan ng mga taga-Cebu kay Mr. Rene Ledesma. Sir? Okay. Alright, Mr. Judy. Mr. Judy.
Senator, I'm here despite the 2-day short notice. I would like to acknowledge some of my full members. Our administrator is here, our director, Eventio Olache, and our members. We are really very happy to join this pilot in fact, the president didn't sign it 2 hours before. He decided not to sign it. And in fact, signing, we weren't even invited. Our honorary chairman is Gloria Arroyo because we formed the backbone of the political life. So our group, Senator, is the only shipowner association based in Philippines. But in terms of number of ships, in terms of tonnage, in terms of employment. And we're very happy to say also that based on 3 years ago, the figure of Manila, 27,000 railways every year, only about 5,000 here. Deployed as apprentice mates because most of the schools here do not have training ships.
Yes.
So we're happy to say that we fill up almost 80% of that. And one thing with our group is that although the big shipping companies in Manila, these apprentice mates would know that they charge. So the apprentice mates, they pay the school, and these shipping companies, looking at the demand, they even charge these kids, no, like 30,000-40,000. But here in Cebu, we do not do that. Most of us, anyway. Yes. And we're very happy to inform the senators about that. We do not have a Cebuano senator. Senator Lacson is a adopted Cebuano. He was, I think, awarded by Tammy Osmeña, adopted son of Cebu. So we consider him as our champion in the Senate because Cebu is the heart of shipping in the Philippines. Yeah. The Marina District Office here has the most registered number of ships, be it cargo, passenger. And most of the big shipping companies here, they trace their routes to Cebu, like to go shipping, for example. So we wish to tell the senator we are here to support him because we consider him as one of us, being an adopted Cebuano. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jimmy. Would you like to reply, Senator? Or shall we proceed now to Mr.
Yeah, we can proceed.
Okay, let's proceed with Mr. Rene Ledesma, the Association of International Shipping Lines.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. It's a great privilege for me to see Senator Lacson in the flesh. I would have wanted him to address him as President Lacson in 2004 and 2022, but that did not happen. But I would really like to see him winning this particular election. If I may go back to Cebu, there's a project here which was inaugurated a few months ago, the Cebu International Port in the north. And it would be really boon to our industry, the international container shipping line industry, if bigger ships can come to Cebu, particularly evergreen ships. Many of our ships have Filipinos as captains, even some Cebuanos, and a lot of the crew members are also Filipino because the chairman of Evergreen has a soft heart for Filipinos. And he even made a captain from Bohol one of his trusted aides while he was still around. And another issue I came to know about a few weeks ago, it seems like for someone who was graduated from your course needs a backer in order to be posted on board a domestic ship or to progress towards your dream career as a seafarer. And I hope that is corrected. And also, as Ms. Garcia mentioned, there needs to be maybe more focus on having a school here, a money agency in Cebu that can accept Filipinos or those from the Visayas. And Mindanao, of course, Cebu is closest to us. In order for them to be able to board the international container ships, particularly. Thank you. Senator, I hope you really make my wife and I.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. thank you, Mr. Ledesma and Mr. Jim Lim for the very insightful discussions. Now we go to the second part of Konsultahan Bayan. We go to the letter E. What do you think the government, particularly the executive department, should be doing for your sector? Marina, DMW, maybe Department of Foreign Affairs, or Office of the President. Anything that concerns Cebu with these organizations that the senator should be able to understand. Recommendation or question?
Okay, good afternoon again. So, this is one of the main issues and concerns of the seafarers. So, in terms of E for economy, if you want higher remittances from the Filipino seafarers, there is this training, the management level 4. So, this training was removed during 2020 and 2022. So, when this training was removed, there were a lot of seafarers from ratings becoming an officers, OIC, and then OIC becoming management. So if we have more management level officers, then they will have a lot of chance to be promoted as officers on board as management. So if we have a lot of management officers on board, then therefore we will have higher remittances because they have higher salary. So this training was then, it was removed then during Vice Admiral Imperidad, and then it was returned when Attorney Fabia. Yeah, can we, is it possible that we can, it was possible that this training was removed, and I do not see the relevance of this training being implemented again. So, yes.
Let me answer that, Kaya nga dito, Kaya nga, yun yung mga trainings in particular, kasi as a seafarer, as a captain also, I've been training on that courses, which is very relevant. Kaya ay kinakausap ko si Senator Ping to look into that, na dapat, kasi ang maritime, I'm not saying this against to the maritime, school owners. Kasi masyadong nagiging business-wise concept yung mga subjects natin. Sa ibang bansa, ganito, nagiging vocational ang seafaring under Coast Guard or dapat nasa Marina. Dapat hindi ito kasama sa Commission on Higher Education. Why? Dapat yung mga trainings na yan, dapat yun ang pinag-aralan namin during our academic. Hindi yung pagkatapos namin mag-graduate, paaralin uli kami ng sangkatutak na training which it costs us a lot of money. Sa ibang I visited a lot of countries, isa lang ang certificate nila once they graduated, nandun na po lahat. Marpol, mayroon pa ito, Marpol 1 and 2, tapos firefighting 1, 2, 3, 4, basic, blah, blah, blah. Hindi na po yan dapat. Dapat po dito, ang maritime will segregate ko dito sa Commission on Higher Education, gagawa ng batas dyan, because right now, there's only one law for that Republic Act para sa Commission on Higher Education lang. Dapat segregate ito, isama sa Marina at saka sa TISDA. Why? Kailangan bang mag-aral yung isang Pilipino ng 4-year course para lang magiging waiter sa isang yung passenger ships? Cruise ships? Hindi kailangan. Kailangan ba mag-aral ang Pilipino ng 4 na taon para magiging tagalinis, janitor doon sa isang barko? Hindi kailangan. Ito, dapat TISDA lang ito. Dapat direct to the point kasi bakit? Ang mga Pilipino, pag naglalakad yan, punta ka ng Lunita. Ang kapal ng binder, puro training. And it cost them millions of pesos for that training. Pag titingnan mo, balikan mo sa namin, sa academic namin, pati yung, mga PE, mga aerobics, mga ano pa yung mga nandyan, na hindi related into, maritime, nandun ang binabayaran namin. So, hindi po nagiging direct yung, yung training.
Kaya nga ang mga Pilipino, kaya kami tinatanggap kasi yung tiyaga, ang mga seafarers, ano ba yung mga pangarap ng mga maging marino? Magkaroon ng bahay, mapag-aral yung mga kapatid, makatulong sa mga magulang. But right now, parang nawala na. Kasi I think most of these students are in the middle class family. Ito yung nakaka-afford. Di ba? Kasi maraming pang bayad. But if you're going to shift down the train of this industry, I think we can produce like 2 million, 3 million seafarers by doing it vocational. Hindi kailangan magiging so expensive ang maritime courses. Instead, idadrop natin na dapat ang gobyerno ang magbabayad sa inyo. Dapat ang kayo papaaralin sa gobyerno kasi magbibigay po tayo ng remittance sa government. Dapat pag dumating yung seafarer sa Manila, dapat may matirahan, dapat may makainan, dapat libre ang passport, dapat libre ang seaman's boat, dapat ganun.
Captain, ang isa lang concern, no, how will you reconcile that, your proposal, doon sa standards established? I think there is an international body, di ba? Kaya of late, di ba, na-suspend yata yung Pilipinas, hindi tinatanggap because may mga lacking equipment sa training school and so forth and so on. But eventually, na-restore yung suspension, na-lift.
IMSA?
Di ba? There's a European...
This is an EU kasi compliance among the Filipino seafarers na until now hindi natin maipasa-pasa. Why? In my own opinion, kagaya na sinabi ko, ang maritime kasi under ng Commission on Higher Education. Ang nakalagay po sa STCW, dapat ang body that will handle the maritime is a maritime experience body. Ang CHED po ay hindi po maritime experience body. Now, supposedly, dapat marina ang handle nito. Kaso, walang mandate ang marina to perform that Kaya, until now, nasa pa rin, hindi pa tayo na isama sa whitelist. Palagi lang tayong umaapila kasi because of our ability to speak English, our ability to persevere, kahit anong hirap ng trabaho, nandun pa rin mga Pilipino, nag-i-stay tayo doon. Pero right now, yung Vietnam, yung Indonesia, nauunahan na tayo, I think, baka pumasa na sila doon sa state tayo, ang Pilipino, ay hindi pa rin pumasa.
So, ang tinatanong nyo, at sinasabi nyo kay Senator Lacson, kapag ka naalala siya ng Senador, tignan nito, number one, yung trainings na pinapagit ninyo, yung relevance nito, kung dapat pang i-offer. Pangalawa, ay sinasabi ninyo na itong mga trainings na ito, pag-aralan ni Senator Lacson in his exercise of his oversight function or legislative function para either nasa Coast Guard o Marina at hindi sa CHED. Senator Lacson.
Yeah, just like the Philippine Military Academy, hindi kami under CHED. Separate. Ang sinasuggest ni Captain Navadan, of course, under Coast Guard, under a separate entity, not under CHED. Para talaga specialized yung kanilang education, yung kanilang training, para hindi na yung, para may general subjects pang kailangan pag-aralan, di ba, na waste of time, waste of money, waste of effort. Yes. Yun ang sinasuggest ninyo.
MLC is not STCW mandatory training. So,
yeah.
MLC is not STC mandatory training. So, why do we need to have the training when it is not STCW mandatory training?
I got it. I understand.
All right, Mr. Ginales.
Mr. Amendoza, siguro rin sabihin natin, i-revisit yung
trainings,
ng mga seafarers. So in short, parang yung ibang subject, yung mga trainings, relevant na po. Yung parang binabuse, para lang kumita. Yung mga trainings center. Tama ba?
Yes.
Tama. Ganun.
Alright, tingnan natin.
Mag-training pag yun, sir. Like, for example, MLC, ang focus is more on bulk.
Yes, we share the views of
we have our the Marina administrations. Sadly, maybe when Senator Lacson in the future sits again in the Senate, maybe he can help us make sure that the Marina administrator should have at least a minimum of 10 years merchant marine experience. What's happening is that, for example, just alone in the past 10 to 15 years, we have a procession of let's say, a general, a professor from the Maritime World Organization, but they don't understand the domestic. There was even the time of President Digong, there was a marine engineer, but it's different if it's somebody who, yes, we have a Navy, the head of the Navy, and a lawyer, 2 lawyers in fact. So we believe that maybe there is a law that can be amended, or with this influence, maybe have somebody who really understands the maritime sector. Actually, that is true. We have been objecting to all this. Sorry, Senator Rabat. That is true. For example, there are many trainings that are for domestic. They're requiring it when those are actually for international.
Yes.
And it costs something like 50 to 70,000.
Yes.
And we're questioning it like, but you know, sometimes, I don't know, there's something between.
Sir, this is an imposition by Marina.
Yes.
Yes.
There's Marina, yeah.
That's
So
what
it's
you're
weird because sometimes when they are imposing these rules, the next thing we know, there are already
dapat hindi training center
maritime training from Manila coming down here and offering these courses, no?
Yeah.
So we, you know, actually we are our association is. I'm happy to hear these comments from you. No?
Yeah.
In fact, I am going to invite you to our board meeting so you can share with us. Yes, and by the way, by next month we're going to invite Vince Dixon.
Yeah.
I'm inviting you.
Yeah.
Please to attend. Thank you. Sorry.
So, Senator, another recommendation, and this time, it appears to be a collective recommendations from this group to revisit the qualification of Marina Administrator.
Yes.
That should be a maritime experience.
Yes.
Say,
Merchant
number of
Marine.
years, like 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
That's
Merchant
before you
Marine.
become an
Yes.
Administrator. Senator.
Well taken. Just like the NBI, yung director, bago ma-appoint, merong qualification na merong at least so many years of law enforcement experience, or at least a lawyer, or an accountant. Pwedeng i-incorporate yan sa batas actually, yung qualifications ng Marina Administrator.
Alright, nakita niyo yung beauty ng konsultahang bayan. Imbes ng senador ang nagsasalita, siya ay nakikinig. At ang pinag-uusapan, mga konkretong steps na pwede na agad gawin yung 100 days. Alright, Mr. Ledesma, would you like any?
Therefore, I agree wholeheartedly with what everyone has said. On a general note, this endeavor to have more qualified officers or appointees running Marina also, if possible, which should apply all aspects of Philippine government, all departments, even GOCCs. For example, people are being appointed because they're close to the administration, they're close to
Political,
this, they're close to that. Even if they do not know anything at all about the agencies they're running or where they have been put. So it's not only for the maritime industry, but for all aspects of government. Competent individuals should be appointed, and not just political appointees who are not competent at all as positions.
Yeah.
They've been appointed for.
Sobra na siguro, sir, 100.
Alright, we move on to the next letter B of Cebu, Batas. Aside from the maritime law or marina law or the qualifications or maybe the training, would you like to make a recommendation or question to Senator Lacson?
Yeah, question.
In particular, relative to a particular law that you'd like to amend, repeal, or maybe revisit?
I would like to ask a question.
Okay, so letter B. So I would like to ask, with the effectivity of the Magna Carta for the seafarers before basic pay. So it has been quite a confusion for these seafarers in terms of how much is the basic pay, because it used to be only 80%. Now, the question is, their overtime pay, leave pay, will it all be remitted to the Philippines? So it's quite, it became a debate, sir. Yeah, we'd like to...
Yun nga yung vagueness, ano? Kasi ang nakalagay doon, kailangan yung 80% ng salary, pero hindi naka-indicate kung basic salary or including overtime pay and so forth and so on. So we have to clarify that. In the exercise of oversight, we can call the authorities that are implementing the law 12021 para i-clarify kung ano ba yung 80%. 80% of what?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for being in that time.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Captain Quinones? Sorry. Oh, sige. Go, Captain.
Okay, Mr. Senator, for me, I'm very concerned on this Republic Act 11659. This is the entry of foreign-owned ships in domestic trade. Ako, as a Filipino, I'm against with this because it will gonna going to lessen the opportunity of each Filipino to be a part of a shipping owning in the country. Now, as far as I remember, what happened was in the pandemic, it's like parang gera yun eh. Ang naiwan lang sa isang bansa is yung mga Pilipino, yung mga natural citizen. Now, what about if in the coming years to come, maybe more than 50% of the ownership in the country will belong to the foreigners? In the times of war, where in fact Philippines is more than 7,200 islands, paano naman kung iiwan yung Pilipinas nitong mga foreign companies that doing domestic trade? Hindi ba pwede na ibigay ito ulit sa mga Pilipino according to Kabotage law?
Yeah, Kabotage.
Kasi right now, natitreatin po yung like nila Sir Lucio dito sa Cebu, na baka pagdating ng panahon, mayroon na magtayo dito na maraming Chinese na mga companies competing with the Filipinos. Ang purpose naman yan is to modernize the shipping, but I think we can modernize that one kung susuportahan ng gobyerno. So ang ko lang kay Senator Ping, to revisit this law, na I think it is not in favor to us Filipinos na parang mawalan tayo ng right na magkakaroon ng ship owning.
Yeah, actually parang anti-Filipino.
Yeah.
Yung
anti-Filipino yung yung batas na yan.
Instead of foreign ships limited sa mga international ports and then i-transport na yun ng mga domestic ships to the different islands, pinayagan na pumasok, di ba? Ganon. So yes, I see your point, and we will revisit yung Kabotage law as you mentioned. Yeah.
Actually, this is already happening now. CMA and Maersk Line have domestics. Well, these are international shipping lines that are replying the domestic route.
Yeah.
And they have big ships. I was really surprised why this has been allowed, but it's already happening. And indeed, it is a threat to
during the time of
local...
Pinoy,
Yes.
During Pinoy's time.
Operating domestically,
Yes.
inter-island?
Traveling domestically.
Nawala yung transshipping eh.
Okay.
Pumasok na sila sa mga ibang islands. Dire-diretso na sila from international waters. Diretso na sila rito. So na-deny yung ating, papatayin actually yung ating local shipping industry.
Understood. All right. Okay, thank you. We move on to, before we entertain questions from media and audience, we move on to letter U. This time, letter U. I don't have microphone. Okay na. We go to the letter U, urgent matters. Within 100 days, when the Senator becomes, when Senator P
is re-elected again.
Naman,
When Senator Ping is
Wala pa
re-elected
question,
again as a
sir.
senator within 100
Lakasan
days,
yung bulbo.
what do you think should be the most urgent concern of Cebuano seafarers, ship owners, that the Senate should pay attention to? Magsimula ulit tayo sa iyo. Okay, sir.
Yes, pag nanalo si Senator Ping, pabalik yan dito. Balik tayo dito.
For compliance.
Ang ibig sabihin ni Captain Quinones, pag nanalo babalik dito, sapagkat yung mga issues ngayon, magre-report na si Senator. Yung mga issues, halimbawa sa training, yung non-essential dapat pa bang kasama? Therefore, ano ang magiging action ni Senator when he faces the budget hearing of Marina, maybe in other relevant agencies? Babalik sa Senator dito para mag-report. Pagkatapos ng Senado, budget hearing and maybe piece of legislation, yung training ba ay dapat nasa ilalim ng check o nasa Coast Guard? Si Senator Ping, pagkatapos na manalo, babalik ko dito para mag-report sa inyo mga taga-Cebuano, mga Cebu. Dapat ba ang qualification ng Marina Administrator should be strong on maritime experience, maybe 5 to 10 years.
Grassroots.
Babalik dito si Senator Ping within 100 days. Para yung 80%. Remittance ba, kasama yung overtime, etc. Si Senator Ping babalik dito pagka nanalo siya para mag-report sa inyo. Yung bang foreign ships ay dapat i-alawan ng regulations, national government regulations, laws na pwedeng ayusin para nang sa ganon, they're not competing domestically, operating domestically. Ito ho bang itinatanong nyo kay Senator Ping?
Yes po. Payag ba kayo? Pabalik si Senator Ping? Oo!
As we speak, members of my staff, mga former Senate staff ko, they're taking notes actually.
Yeah.
They're under instructions to take notes para lahat ng mga napag-usapan dito, ma-remind kami. Even when I get back to the Senate, nandyan, nakalista lahat yan. Because ang tradition namin sa Senate, yung first 10 bills, each of the 24 senators will file their first 10 priority bills. And I assure you, yeah, Day one, hanggang sa bago mag-open yung Senate, kasi una-unahan dyan sa numbering eh. Senate Bill number 1, number 2, number 3, gano'n. So, yun ang tradition sa Senate. And, I assure you, they're all taking notes, my staff, para i-remind ako sa napag-usapan dito. Hindi makalimutan.
Alright, thank you, Senator Ping. Before we turn on issue, sir, any urgent, you think the senator, the next senator should pay attention to, say, within the first 100 days that they are elected, re-elected to the senator? The most urgent.
Yeah, I think we have mostly
covered.
Yeah. I think the Public Service Act, actually the shipping associations, not only us, but also in Manila, the Philippine Inter-Island Shipping, Philippine Liner, they all sent position papers. And we attended the hearings. Unfortunately, they were not considered.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Captain?
I pay attention to all students here kasi ito yung future ninyo. I want you to pay attention on this. Ang tinanong po sa akin ni former Secretary Cesar po, ano yung gagawin ni Senator Ping in his first 100 days? Baliktarin ko, ito yung tanong ko sa inyo. Ano yung gagawin ninyo in the May 12 elections sa Seafarers champion natin, Senator Ping Lacson? I think that's the most priority. Ano yun? Pag-alin? Ano yun?
Kailangan malakas na malakas para marinig ng may more than 900,000 seafarers na mga Pilipino sa buong mundo. Alright, thank you. We Sige, sir.
Microphone.
Tapos, Sir Wing Siklot, mamaya, after Mr. Abilana.
Hello, good evening, Senator King Lacson.
Good evening.
Welcome, Cebu. I know, Senator Lacson, that was 90s, no? You assigned here in Cebu. King Lacson is a part of booming of Cebu. Why? Para dapat yun na, I witness that. Pag walang peace and order sa Cebu, no investors here will come. Bakit? Kailangan natin ang peace and order. Sir, congratulations! He is the first of all of Cebu. King Lacson. Sir, alright, congratulations. Isa lang ko ni Senator. This is the problem ng Philippines, no? Ideology pa. Pag ang tao, gutom, no? Hirap. Diba? Anong gagawin niya kung gutom siya? Ano? Magnanakaw. The crimes is, ano lang? Kasi gutom siya. So, ano ang gagawin mo, Mr. P. Lacson, Senator? What is the solution?
Well, mostly the solution is in the implementation. How I wish I was still with the Philippine National Police so I could do my job hands-on. Ano? Kasi sa legislation, we can only pass legislation or laws in support of the executive branch to implement the laws properly in the maintenance of peace and order. But we always exercise our oversight function. If there are excesses committed by the police, we are there to call them by way of a legislative inquiry in aid of legislation. And we are able to approve yung mga causes why such and such crimes are being committed. Yun, sa legislation ganon, but you know, most of the problems that we're encountering concern implementation of the laws already passed by Congress.
Salamat po.
Thank you, Mr. Abilana. Thank you para natin, Mr. Abilana. Alright. Susunod na magtatanong, Sir Wing Siklot.
Yes, I'm from Bugu, northern part of Bugu, Cebu, 4th district. I'm running for councilor with the party. So I know Mr. P. Lacson before, when I was still a student. One of my cousins is the bodyguard of one of the police bodyguard of P. Lacson. So I know really P. Lacson. He's a good guy. Now Mr. P. Lacson, similar. You help these people, young people, know about the problem. I have one problem which I have encountered in Mindanao and also here in Cebu. This problem is only for the senior citizen people. Kasi lahat kasi ng ano ngayon, not all senior citizen people nabibigyan ng benefits, pension benefits. Ngayon, Mindanao, here, maraming 70s, like, yung edad nila 70, 67, mayroon iba nakarating ng 80, hindi natatanggap ng senior benefits, pension. So, pwede ba, senior, can you help these people? Kasi ito, ginawa na ni Atty. Franklin Quijano, senior citizen, what we call that one, wala rin nangyari. So, kung ito magagawa mo, Senator, ito ang iyan mo sa mga matatanda, sigurado ako, lahat ng senior people will vote for you. Panalo ka, 100%. Kasi may sulit mo sila ko doon, ito lang hinihingi nila, kasi kinakausap ko sila, anong gagawin o anong hihingin ko kay Senator Panfilo Lacson. Sabi na, yun lang hihingin mo para iboboto namin sa akin.
Can you help us about this, Senator?
Yes, of course, of course. Thank you very much. You know, we are here for these young people, ano?
Yeah.
Yung particularly yung concerns ng maritime industry or yung issues concerning seafarers. So, alam nyo, nung nagkausap kami sa office ko ni Captain Labadan, right away, and he suggested, or I suggested, now why don't we talk to the seafarers in Cebu? No? And now that there are future seafarers here na marinig nila yung mga issues pinag-uusapan and the possible solutions along the lines of legislation or even implementation, I think it's good enough for us to hear the problems, the issues, the concerns that are being raised this afternoon or this evening. But rest assured, I'm a senior citizen like you. Or are you a senior citizen, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm 65 years old.
So rest assured that sa legislation, yung mga issues about pensions, discounts, of course meron tayong senior citizens law, di ba? Entitled to discount sa mga maintenance medicines, tapos yung 20% sa senior citizens law, di ba? Including yung VAT exemption, meron mga ganyan na existing na batas.
Yeah, but this one, Senator, kasi lahat ng LGUs, pinipili na nila yung bibigyan. Like me, seaman din ako before. My father, nag-retire siya, hindi nakakatanggap ng pension because seaman daw ako. Until now, yun ang ginagawa nila. No? They are not helping these poor people dahil may pera yung anak, ganito. So, pwede ba natin yan malaman at ano ko sa NGO na itong mga magsasaka na to, itong farmers na to, mabibigyan ng benefits. Kasi yun ang ginagawa nila kasi malayo sila sa city, malayo sila doon sa province, at saka pinipili lang nila yung nasa city yung binibigyan. Yung mga mahihirap, hindi nila nabibigyan. So, pwede bang tulungan natin sila?
Yes, of course. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Senor.
Alright.
Thank you.
Okay.
Please,
alright, sa mga estudyante. Sino may tanong? Estudyante or teacher? Please. Ayan, may estudyante. Pangalan at taga saan? Sige, please.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Senator Pinlason.
Good evening.
My name is Edith Khalid Maxim Jonathan, first year college student.
First year.
So here's my question. Last year, we had the privilege to visit the training ship Hanbada from Korean Maritime and Ocean University. And I must say, napakaganda ng vessel at lalo ako na-inspire magsiman. Is there any possibility na magkaroon ng training ship dito po sa Pilipinas with the same quality? Thank you.
Referring to the question, can I answer?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, sir.
Dito kasi sa STCW, ang nire-repair nila na training ship, it's a commercial ship. Because that training ship you are talking about is for their maritime police, intended for Coast Guard, but for the STCW, ang nakalagay mo dyan, kailangan po mag-training kayo sa merchant na commercial ships. So meaning, even if UB will gonna buy a training ship, it will not suffice on the requirement on STCW. Kaya nga, when I talk to Senator Lacson, dito po, ako shipping owner din ako, I have my own ships. Kunti lang naman. Pero nakikita ko kasi, like I'm very proud with what Sir Jun Lim is saying na sa Cebu, hindi po sila nangungulikta ng apprenticeship training package. Sa ibang lugar po, nangungulikta pag nag-apply kayo ng apprentice, magbabayad kayo ng full package, I think 50,000. Para mayroon kayong makain, at the same time, magti-training kayo sa mga barko nila. Hindi po namin ginagawa yon. Okay? Pero it's a part of the requirement in order for you magiging bachelor yung ano mo, yung degree mo, you need to do your training in any commercial ships. So dito lang. Kaya mayroon akong isa-suggest dyan later on to Senator Ping na bawat barko kasi mayroon kaming issue 1, diba correct, Sir John Lim, yung CPC. Hindi po makatakbo ang isang barko sa Pilipinas na wala pong CPC. Okay? Dapat yung CPC na yan, may naka-annotate dyan na the companies, bago sa bigyan ng CPC, is to have them responsible of the new graduate students na dapat they will going to adopt at least 2 cadets on board. Wala hong charge yun. Now, I think right now, we have more than 8,000 ships all over the Philippines. If we're going to multiply it by 2, that's 16,000. But ngayon, hirap na hirap ang mga bagong graduate looking for opportunities even to do apprentice. Kasi ang Cebu, Visayas din ako nag-graduate Pagkatapos natin, ang pinaka-objective ng mga Cebu student, maybe 60% ay mag-apprentice, di ba? Saka mag-overseas. Ang Manila naman iba, overseas, ayaw nila mag-domestic. Correct? So, parang ganun ang nagiging trend. Kaya yung sinasabi po ninyo, engine cadet, maganda po yun, but it is the responsibility of, I think, ng Pilipinas mag-provide ng ganun. But actually, hindi po yan papasok doon sa STCW training.
Alright, yes sir. Okay, in fact, ang nagmumungkahi kayo kay Senator Ping Lacson na reviewin o tanungin during the budget deliberations of Marina na before the issuance of CPC, yung bang CPC is Certificate of Public Conveyance?
Yes po.
Dapat may annotation in spirit of social responsibility or whatever, it's part of its
yes.
Of activity to sponsor.
To sponsor because this is maritime development.
Excuse me. I think Arnold, under the new law, the Magna Carta, it's there. That's part of what they during the BICAM. No, not during the BICAM, but during the review. We were asked to commit to
IRR.
IRR. It's also in the law, sir. I think parang 50 from about 30% of the crew complement. Yes, it is now part of the law.
Yes.
And also, by the way, it's also part of the law already that the training courses will now be under Marina and CHED. Before only CHED, now Marina and CHED. So partly it resolves that. These issues that you're giving out now. Thank you.
So, titingnan na lang ni Senator Lacson during the budget deliberation or any discussion relevant to a particular bill. Alright, sige. Maraming salamat. Okay. Tanong pa mula sa audience? Estudyante, teacher? Hi, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
My member.
I am
member.
Member. I'm here as a representative of the Philippine Coastwise Shipping Association, Mr. Lim. Now, Mr. Senator, good evening po.
Good evening.
I have been listening to the discussion and medyo may mga hindi po tama na I just want to straighten this out. And I'm thankful that maraming estudyante ngayon dito. Because these students, these young students, right now, pinakawawa ng mga estudyante dito ngayon. Because itong BSME at BSMT na courses, parang ito na yata ang pinakamahirap na kurso ngayon. Mas mahirap pa kaysa medicine, ganyan, because of the so many requirements that is required of them. Bakit? Bakit? Kasi yung trust ng gobyerno natin Nasa international lang ang focus eh. Kami ngayon sa
Domestic.
wala. We are representing the domestic shipping industry, which is now in crisis. If the problem of the domestic shipping industry is not solved, I'll tell you, wala kayong barko masasakyan
Sakyan,
na
yes.
mag-apprentice kayo.
Correct.
Domestic shipping industry is the brink of extinction.
Collapse.
Mamamatay itong industriya na ito
Because of that law.
pag ang focus ng ating gobyerno ay masyadong nasa international.
Yes. Oh.
Okay, ano ang problema ngayon namin? Right now, we are in crisis. Mahirap kumuha ng seafarers
Money crisis.
para sa
Domestic.
Money crisis. Mr. Senator, ngayon, marami sa amin na almost 50% of our fleet hindi na makakatakbo kasi wala kami crew mga motorbike. We are losing many of them.
So ibang level sa domestic, sa vocational na.
Bisita ngayon, international. Kasi STCW eh. The full rate is STCW. Okay, the Magna Carta for Seafarers, meron na ngayong provision dyan na domestic education at international education. But the problem with the Magna Carta, although tapos na, sinabi ni Captain Lavalan, na meron ng IRR last February, pero sa totoo po,
hindi pa implemented.
Hindi pa tapos ang mga IRR dyan. There are about 20 provisions of that Magna Carta na wala bang IRR.
Yes.
PCSA was part of the group
Ilang chapters
that
ang 21?
drafted the IRR.
Chapters.
Hindi natapos.
Ilang chapters lang natapos ang IRR?
I think right now, 8 lang yan.
Dahil
Out of 21?
Bigyan lang tayo ng 90 days to come up with an IRR.
Yeah.
So, pressing for time, yung committee, multi-sectoral committee tasked to craft the IRR, pinalabas yung version nila kahit hindi pa tapos. Kasi if we want to extend the 90 days, kailangan ng panibagong amendatory bill to extend the period of crafting the IRR. So ito nga yung problema ng domestic shipping. Punta tayo sa Public Service Act. Binanggit na kanina, meron ng mga foreign-owned companies na nag-organize ng Philippine Corporation. Ang ginawa nila, kasi ang batas, nagbigay na 100% foreign ownership.
Yes.
Itong CMA, nagbigay ng MERS, they organize a company, a Filipino registered company, RICSEC. But 100% foreign owned. Ano ngayon nangyari? Itong CMA, meron na silang container ship, flying Manila, Cebu, Cagayan. Tinamaan yung ibang membro namin. Flying the same road, carrying containers. Yung kabutas na lifted, dapat sana yung foreign vessel, 1 in 3, 1/4. Ngayon, pwede lang
magtagta doon.
Inter-island.
And in fact, merong proposal na antala lang yung tinatawag na operational flexibility na agapan namin sa PCSA na hindi yan ituloy. In implementation of this amendment sa PCSA, ang gagawin nila, yung mga foreign vessel na Philippine flag, hindi sinabi Filipino-owned, Philippine flag. Pag pumasok sa Pilipinas, hindi na silang kumuha ng kargamento. Kunyari, pumasok sa Manila, diskarga yung kargamento nila. Merong domestic cargo papuntang Cebu o Cagayan. Uli nila. O sige, karga namin yan kasi wala pa kami
kargada.
International voyage. So anong mangyari ng shipping company dito sa domestic companies? Mamamatay yan. So sana, Mr. Senator, pag nandun ka na after the election, which I am sure that you will win because you have been a consistent winner in the past senatorial race. Una, dapat mayroon tayong sariling domestic shipping regulation. Kasi yung PFRR 97 natin, pagpasahin ito, puro international regulation ang napasok dyan. Pangalawa, itong mga apprentice, hindi ko maintindihan bakit pahirapan. Yung ibang courses, for example, architecture, nag-aral ka, after graduating, graduate ka, you are not allowed to take the board unless meron kang 2 tao mag-on-job training sa mga architectural firm, construction firm. Pag-ibigin natin magawa nito. Pag-graduating muna natin sila, then we will not allow them to take the board. Let them render at least 2 years sea service. Magtrabaho sila, may sahod sila. Ngayon, ang nangyari, I don't know how many of these young BSME and BSME students after 3 years makapag-apprentice, makapag-shipboard training. Hindi natin alam ilan lang sa kanila. The last data na binigay sa amin, 30% lang daw.
Yeah.
So kung mayroong 1,000 estudyante na nakapagtapos ng 3 years, only 300 of them will be able to undergo shipboard training. Of those 300, ilan lang ang makapabigis. Kasi hindi lahat sa kanila ginagawa ngayon, they will just pay an advance tuition fee of 500. After the apprenticeship, yung iba sa kanila, nahihiya siguro sa kanilang parents, kasi they are coming from, according to Captain Tabalan, yung taga-provincia, nagtatrabaho.
Trabaho na lang.
They go to work.
Iba na.
Iba na lang.
Ang nahirap ganito, after saving para magpag-PBS, pagpunta sa school, PBS ako, sabi ng school, hindi pwede. Kasi nung panahon nag-apprentice sila, Mr. Senator, ang requirement nila TRB, training record.
Bayad na naman.
Kung pagpunta sa school, meron na silang additional requirement, journal. Sinabihan na ng school, saan yung journal mo? Wala pa. You have to produce. Anong sinabi ng school? Mag-apprentice ka ulit. Nasabi ko yan dahil I have staff, na-close staff ko, gano'n ang nangyari. Ngayon, lalong mahirap kasi meron ng additional on-board training guide o meeting. Yan. So, bakit hindi natin sila pagkapusin muna 4-year course academic? Kasi ano yung training natin sa school? Yun ang i-apply natin sa trabaho natin, di ba? In any course, accounting, engineering, ganun yan eh.
Yeah.
So, ngayon, isa pa, merong regulasyon. Ang shipping company ang mahirap. Bakit? Kami, domestic company, we spend time, money, and effort to admit these students for their shipboard training. Pagbaba,
wala.
Diretso yan sa international, iniiwan kami.
Wala.
Wala yung isang school, maritime school, right now, capable of letting the students graduate. Kayo, makagraduate ba kayo pag hindi kayo maka-apprentice sa mga bago namin? Ha? Sabihin ng totoo. Hindi. Because they have to board our ship for 1 year bago sila makapag-PBS. So anong lumalabas dyan? The school is not capable of letting their students graduate.
Yeah.
Part of the responsibility is to train and to educate the students. Kasama na doon ang adequate laboratory facilities at the training ship is a laboratory facility. Now, this is a complicated issue itong sa maritime. Kaya yaman na karta ngayon, mayroong domestic. We are happy about this because probably yung problem namin sa domestic masusolve. Why? Ano mangyari sa bansa natin pag wala ng domestic shipping? We are an archipelago.
True.
Diba?
True.
Yes.
True.
Ang domestic, ang shipping industry is very vital to the security of our country.
Yes.
And we are allowing 100%
ownership.
Kung magkakaroon ng emergency, anong mangyari sa atin? Let's bring it to the extreme. Magkakaroon ng gera.
Wala.
Foreign-owned ships na. Baka nakalimutan natin, itong mga bata, hindi nila alam, in fact ako hindi alam, but if you will read history, the merchant fleet was very, very significant during World War II.
Yes.
Malaki ang tulong nila sa bansa dahil sila ang nag-carry ng mga equipments, ng mga supplies during the war. Kung mangyari sa atin yan, especially sa amendment ng PC sa Public Service Act na naging instead of public utility, naging public service na lang tayo. Tapos yung port natin, public utility. How can you disassociate a ship from the port? Alright. Diba? Okay. Ganon yan, sir. Basta, last issue lang. Ang problema ngayon is the money on the domestic ship on 500 below those tons and above 500 below. Yung mga barko ngayon, wala kang crew makuha. Lalo na yung above 500 those tons. What is left for us to hire, Mr. Senator, are those 80 years old, 70 years old seafarers galing sa labas. Hiring them entails safety. Pero wala kaming magawa. Para yung barko namin magkakatakbo, hire namin yan. Kahit questionable yung safety ng kanilang navigation.
Yeah, but basic talaga.
So, I hope may bakas na magawa dito na kung sa domestic lang, yung money, hindi kailangan na level sa
STCW.
Yung mga major patrol, tama na yun. Meron tayong mga major patrol na mahuhusay that has been with us for the past 15 and 20 years. Ang nangyari ngayon, dahil pinataas natin yung mga required licenses, tinerminate namin yung services ng mga major patrol namin kasi hindi na pwede. Sayang, nawalaan pa ng trabaho. So, I hope that is all. Marami
very complicated yung problema.
Thank you, sir. Very insightful. Palapakan natin, sir. Para na rin kayo public hearing niya. Para na rin kayo sa Senate public hearing. Would you like to respond, Sir June?
Actually, yes, I believe that we will have a champion in the Senate with the senator there in the future, and we will be there if he asks us to, but by the way, just for the information of, because there are so many seafarers here, so this association is working very, very hard, and we're almost there, because it works like this. There are only 1,200 ships, except fishing boats, except bangkas, okay? There are only above 1,000 gross ton, okay? And you know that almost 12 years ago, okay, IMO said, STCW said that we will only honor 1,000 GRT and above training. We will only honor 1,000 horsepower, okay? So immediately, the number of cadets that can go up dropped by almost, maybe, I don't know, 70%. So we have been telling Marina, and there are, by the way, double, about 2,400 below 500. So immediately, wala na, hindi na yung pwede makasakay. The seamanship on the fight, you know, these are very good captains here. You know whether it's 500 below or 1,000 GRT above. It's the same experience that you get, right? Yes. And the diesel engine, the 1,000 horsepower, the principle behind the 100 and 1,000 is the same. So we have been telling them that, why don't you allow them to board domestic ships below 500, below 1,000 horsepower, so they can graduate, but only for domestic service. It will also help the domestic shipping, so we can hire them. And there is a bridging, like what Vietnam does. 2 years, after 2 years, if they can go above the bigger ship, let's say they work on the bigger ship, there is a bridging. We have been talking about this with Marina for, what, 3 years? Right now, we're almost there. Because by virtue of my position, I sit as a non-voting member of Marina. By the way, Pepe here, together with our administrator, they are part of the team that's doing the IRR. So that is how involved our association is. So that's why I'm hoping that we can work together on this because we have the same concerns. We really have a money crisis now. And sorry because this may be confusing for the senator or is overwhelmed by the many problems that there are. As you know, the maritime, we have a lot of things to work on.
Address,
And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. June. I think we are witnessing a live Senate committee hearing in Cebu, and there are many pieces of legislation that can be a part of inquiry and oversight.
Anong committee na punta yung Magna Carta? Saan committee?
Before we recognize another
Public services?
Senator, any rejoinder, sir? Doon sa mga pinanggit? Domestic shipping is in crisis. Narinig ko sa inyo?
Yeah, it is.
And it is on the brink of extension. Narinig ko rin sa inyo. Pero kay Sir John, it's a money crisis.
Yes. Yes.
It's a money crisis. At narinig ko rin ko sa inyo, the national government, Senator Ping, narinig ko na ni Senator Ping, the national government is foreign-oriented than domestically-oriented. And it is witnessed and manifested even in the regulatory environment for trainings for overseas, but not necessarily trainings for overseas for domestic use. All right, we will entertain one or two more questions. Sige, si ma'am, kanina pa nagtatanong. Sige, go. Si ma'am, sige, microphone kayo ma'am.
Si madam.
Then kayo po, sir.
Picture siguro.
Actually, DPA in Brazil. DPA.
Third
engineer.
Third engineer.
70% ang nagsasalita ay kayo at nakikinig. Tama ito.
Makinista yan.
Ang senador dapat ay nakikinig. Bago umupo ang senador, pagkat mayroon na siya alam dyan, importante pa rin na narinig ka mismo galing sa sektor. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, yes, good evening. Actually, we are a bit unsatisfied sa sagot kanina going back to the leadership. Because I was once before a cadet, an NSA cadet, and then I also had the privilege to be on board TS, Felix Oka, and registered siya ng Merchant Marine. So that's why it is, hindi siya nakakapanibago why the students are asking. Because there's a word of mouth regarding TS, Felix Oka before, na kami pa students before, and then karoon kami issue with the sea service. So I hope you would consider, Mr. Senator, na that the government would also like maybe collaborate with the universities or the other shipping company to have a quality TS ship here under this very company. I think that's possible, right? Yun lang po. We're just satisfied lang po kasi.
Alright. Understood. So you see, the advocating for a traineeship, although mayroon din naman ibang paliwanag doon. Alright. Is 100 days, Senator, enough? To start
200 days.
200 days. 200 days. For inquiry and understand more or less a logical conclusion.
Overwhelming yan. Dami problema.
Alright.
Sorry, sir.
Okay, last question. Mag-entertain na tayo ng balik tanong. Yeah, sir. Ang ganda.
This is not a common
Pero maganda yung dialogue eh.
Good evening. My name is Cesar Tudini. I came from PMA, Pakilabalan. I thought you were a senior. Thank you. Mr. Lushuri was correct. I was one of those who represented PCSA in the crafting of the IRR for the Magna Carta. I think one of the discussions here is about the cadets. During the crafting of the IRR, which was chaired by DMW and vice chaired by Marina, I specifically mentioned about the training ship. There was this RA 844 that has been promulgated in 1953. In accordance with the 844, which is also stated in the Magna Carta, every maritime school should have their own training ship. Now, during the IRR crafting, I asked Chef and Marina what happened. Why was this law not implemented very well? And that's the reason why we have thousands of students who have not gone into training, simply because I think there was also something that needs to be addressed by the government in terms of regulating the maritime schools. Now, admittedly, first, PMMA is different now. Admittedly, most commercial schools, maritime schools as an example, these are business-oriented schools, to make it that way. What is the slogan of all the maritime schools? Of course, with the exception of PMMA. See the word for free, right? And this is the link between, between the how it becomes attractive on the part of the students. So I think if there is something that has to be revisited, the 844 and the 12021 of the Magna Carta. Also, although I'm now from the domestic shipping, I also came from the overseas sector. The problem with the allotment is not actually the 80%. The problem of the seafarers on board is the 20% remaining. Because the 80% seafarers, we used to have 80% of basic salary.
Yes.
So
Nasa Supreme Court yan eh. Nasa Supreme Court yung case na yan. Yung 80%. Nag-file yata si Matula ba yun? Nasa Supreme Court, pending eh. Yung 80%, 20%. That's discriminatory ah. Yung 80-20. Other OFWs, walang ganun eh.
He's our administrator. Technically, overtime. Guaranteed or fixed overtime. So the 80% is now based on the 150. But there is something that some seafarers do not understand. Which is something that was not written in the Magna Carta. The 80%, you now have the option as a seafarer to select your allottees. But it's not stated whether how many allottees are allotted for you. In some companies, they are giving 3 allottees. So out of the 80%, maximum 100, if you would like to give it to your wife, it's up to you. It depends on how much percentage will you give. Again, the issue here is not 80%, the issue here is the 20% that is going to be remaining for the seafarers overseas. The third thing, I agree with Mr. Pepe Duros Reyes that the concentration of the government is more on the overseas sector. Last March 19 and 20, I was sent by our chairman, Mr. Lucio Lim, to attend the forum in Manila, sponsored by overseas companies, particularly in the usage of alternative fuels. They are now referring to the seafarers, Filipino seafarers, who should be boarding, how can they be trained to board vessels that are modern, alternative. In that case, I stood up because I have to represent PCSA. I told them that the problem that we are facing with the domestic shipping is that we are being set aside. They are focusing more on overseas, but they're not focusing on the domestic shipping. The foundation of the seafaring comes from within. last year, we had a visitor in PCSA because there was this inquiry from the DOTR. How can the overseas banks, particularly Asian Development Bank, can assist the domestic shipping? I don't know where it went now because there's no follow-up in that respect. Also, in that forum in Marina, I also mentioned to them there are two things. The shipbuilding industry in the country is also being left behind. Mr. Senator, there is one thing that I would like you to know. 90%, or should I say 10% of the shipbuilding industry here is for the domestic. What happened with the 90%? The 90% of the shipbuilding, they go overseas, particularly in China. So we lost what we call it, the opportunity loss to have 90% of the shipbuilding to be carried out here, supposedly, but that doesn't happen. Why? Because our shipbuilding industry is also left behind. Again, Mr. Chavez, PCSA is part of the technical working group, sponsored, spearheaded by the DTI, which is the Bureau of Philippine Standards, for us to craft a policy or a procedure on how to possibly effectively carry out procedures when it comes to shipbuilding. So we have been representing this sector. So again, the schools, the shipping, and the shipbuilding. If these three areas, I believe, will be given due attention and modernized in a way, I think even the economy of the Philippines may evolve. Thank you, Mr. Senator.
Thank you. There's a saying, sorry. There is a saying, the spring cannot rise above its source. Ano? In your example, yung law, RA 844, as restated, that particular provision, restated in 12021, yun yung source. Yung IRR is the spring. And the spring cannot rise above its source. Meaning, hindi pwedeng kumontra yung IRR when drafted and finalized kung ano yung naka-state sa law. It's just like the Constitution and the law. Yung law, hindi pwedeng violative of the Constitution because fundamental law of the land yung Constitution. In the same vein, yung IRR should not supersede or should not be contrary to what is provided in the law. So, when you go back do sa pag-craft ng IRR, you insist, hindi po pwede itong violative ng law yung ginagawa nating IRR because you'll be open to petition sa Supreme Court and that IRR could be declared, probably illegal or unconstitutional.
Alright, alam mo ninyo, bihira ko makakita ng forum na halos 90% ng audience ay nakatingin sa nagsasalita. Palakpakan ninyo ang sarili ninyo. Maraming salamat sa panelists natin. Maraming salamat sa comment niya. Mag-input ka. Senator Pete Lacson, naalala ni Mr. Avellana na naging Chief of Police ng Cebu. At nung naging Chief of Police ng Cebu, 1999, patungo sa early 90s, mismo si Governor Lito Osmeña ang nagsulat sa Pangulo, huwag mo munang paalisin ang Pete Lacson sapagkat kailangan namin dito at napakahusay. Palapakan niyo si Senator Pete Lacson. Bibigyan na natin ang pagkakataon si Senator Pete Lacson. Mensahe sa inyo. Mensahe sa Maritime Sector. Senator. Sige, sir.
Good evening again, everyone, to our fellow seafarers. Ako po, kagaya ninyo noon, mga taong mahirap tayo, that's why nagmabargo tayo. We wanted what is the best of us and our family. Kami po ni Senator Lacson, we are now talking about the development really of the maritime industry in the Philippines. Not only for seafaring, but shipbuildings, ship registrations, any other opportunities that related to maritime. Kasi bakit? I do believe ang maritime industry is uncorruptible. Maglalayag ho ang maritime industry soon with our senator ng kanya. It will have to go, ang sabi nga, ang sabi na anong motto ng mga maritime school, maritime, we're gonna going to see the world free. Dapat, kung free yan, libre yan para sa mga estudyante ng maritime.
Alright.
John?
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Senator B. You have to make a statement, please.
Thank you for, we're very happy to have participated here. So we hope that we can all work with Senator Lacson when he is back there in the Senate. And we're really very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant. All right, Senator Lacson.
Yeah, thank you. I learned a lot today, but I'm also overwhelmed. No, but I'm overwhelmed, but I'm also grateful that I learned a lot from you, from the resource persons here on the stage, and we have lots and lots of work to do. Pag ako, just in case ako ma-elect, I assure you this will be one of my priority measures. Because you know, what struck me the most, when I first met Captain Labadan, what struck me the most, yung kanyang story, yung personal life experience niya, sabi niya, nung araw, kami, mahirap, nakapagtapos kami ng kurso, because kaya. But now, it's a different matter altogether, because only the rich people, only the rich parents can send their children to maritime school. Yes. And that brought us here. Kaya tayo nandito, nagkakaroon ng konsultahan, nagkakaroon ng dialogue, because of that personal experience that you shared with me. If not for that, siguro hindi ako maging masyadong interesado because I love, success stories like Captain Arnold's story here. So, I hope the students that we have now will succeed in the future and follow the lead of Captain Labadan. Imagine, coming from humble beginnings, ngayon he owns ships. Imagine, sabi niya, konti lang naman, pero ships pa rin yun. So, anyway, good luck to everyone and I just hope you study hard. Mahiya kayo, maawa kayo sa mga magulang na nagpapaaral sa atin. Salamat, maraming salamat sa inyo.
Thank you, sir. Tayo. Pictures with the senator.
Up, on.
Ay, sorry.
Lapit kayo. Lapit yung mga lahat. Dito tayo sa gitna. Dito ang camera.
Okay na, sir.
Lapit lang. Senator, sa gitna.
Bahala mo. Ay, nakatabunin.
Alright, Senator. Vlog. Senator, sa gitna.
Doon kayo, guys. Doon kayo.
Alright, dito na guys. Tapos dyan sa Senator. Lapit kayo. Yung mga nag-iwan, lapit kayo. Lapit kayo.
Tatakpan niya iba. Upo tayo.
Sige. Sir, sumama si Senator.
Oo po kami.
Ay, sorry. Dumira kayo.
Kasi naiusama si Senator Romo.
Kaya naman.
Halala, din ako makita.
Right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Asa ba? Asa ikaw?
Ng photo op with Senator Ping Lacson. We also would like to thank the United Harbor Pilots Association of the Philippines and Metro Cebu Airport, Corporation Incorporated for bringing this event possible.
Malay, mana. Kadali ko lang. Nalit, Zimbabwe.